Relaks.com and listen on.
Don't be afraid to catch fish.
Relax Radio.
Welcome back to Relax Radio. And guess what? Today is a Thursday, and we got my buddy Laura. I actually forgot your name there for a second.
Oh my gosh, I feel so
No,
zoomed.
I'm just a terrible person. I'm just joking. I don't. I'll never forget you. But
Hi,
yes, it
Nick.
is a. I'm doing great. How are you doing? How are you?
I'm good. I'm great. It's a new month. I'm feeling very positive.
I am feeling the positivity too. I mean, not just because the weekend is just around the corner,
No,
but
that
but
happens every week. So
always, every single week. But the best part is, it's payday. It's the end of the month. Yeah, we're gonna get our Monday.
yeah, I'd feel happy if I actually worked last week, so I didn't. So you're gonna have to
Oh,
wait till next week.
oh,
Because see,
but
I get mine every week, so
you lucky that way. Damn, I'm talking to a millionaire. The next what? Bill Gates, Melinda Gates.
let's just wait till that time comes.
Hopefully. But yeah, it is a Thursday, and what I like to call it, it is a fake Friday because Friday is just around the corner. People celebrate this day, like, oh, the weekend is here, but oh no, we have one more
Yeah,
day. Yeah. Oh.
yeah.
So this is the pre-celebratory weekday. I'd like to
All
say
of the above.
all of the above. And yeah, it's going to be a very celebratory week because looking at how Boris Johnson is taking the situation in the country, he has been giving some great news about that.
Yeah. Well, what he said so far is he hasn't really pinpointed a date per se, but he's saying that the summer is still possible for a lot of people that are planning to travel if you get your two jabs. If you're double jabbed, your
Yeah,
vaccine, yeah. So it's possible for you to get your two doses and then travel without quarantine. So it's going to be like a quarantine-free holiday. But
yeah,
the condition is that you get your two doses. I
that
think
is the
that
condition.
yeah, that's the way for to encourage people to get to get their vaccines, of which I have finally booked mine. I have, Nick, I finally booked
Finally,
it. So
about
yeah,
time.
but we don't know when that's going to happen. The prime
Oh,
minister didn't exactly give us
yeah.
a pinpointed date, but we know that that's possible. So that's good news,
I mean,
to say
yes,
the
I
least.
mean, he is talking about this, but he has been also he did emphasize and he did say that okay, there's going to be issues like this. Travel is not going to be the same as it was back
Yeah,
then. So back, before pre-COVID levels, travel is not going to be the same like that anymore. It's going to be, yeah, there's going to be changes. It's going to be different, and yeah, people can't expect the same. So if you want to travel, especially to these amber countries, he did say that you will be required to get double jabs. So hopefully that's something we can look forward to. People can look forward to. I mean, traveling right now. Look, this is the thing. You don't get isolated in the UK, yes, but when you travel to those countries, you will need to follow their rules as well.
yeah, yeah. I mean, absolutely. Saying that traveling is not going to be the same. I think everyone pretty much already knows that. We already know that since 2020, the world is not going to be the same.
That is
And
true.
a lot of people just realize that we've taken a lot of things for granted. So
Yeah.
now that everything has changed, it's like, oh snap, we're not going to have it 100% just the way it was. A lot of things are going
No.
to change. Last year, it was really terrible. No one could travel at all. We were in
Oh yeah.
complete lockdown. So anyone expecting this summer to be, how we used to go wherever you wanted to go and all of that, it's not going to be like that for several reasons. Besides the COVID, the
Yeah.
Brexit has happened.
That
So
is true.
unlike back in the day where you could just go to France or go to Italy or Spain
Yeah.
without a
I remember
visa,
those days.
but now you can't. So a lot of things have just changed in a very short time.
And I mean, yeah, it's not the greatest of years. I mean, look, I even saw this, this TikTok rather, where this kid was dancing. And he's like, okay, the people in 2060 who are going to be reading about COVID. They're like, oh wow, this is going to be a very serious thing. This is a big thing for the exam. The children in 2020, we're doing TikToks, we're just dancing, pretending like nothing is really going on. Yes, I mean that is oversimplifying the thing, but looking at the way things are going right now, we can reach some sort of normalcy, but not a 100%. And yeah, with Brexit also going on, definitely
Yeah.
the country is going to be facing major changes, major overhauls in a lot of policies as well. And yeah, also climate change has been a talk right now in the UK as well. I don't know if you've been in touch with that, because yeah, that's just a big thing going on, and I think
Yeah.
it'll be happening in Glasgow. That will be the COP26.
I think the Queen said something about, because she was in Edinburgh and they had
All right.
a climate change discussion,
Okay.
and she was basically saying that change is like everyone needs to change the way we do things.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is I've never really been an advocate for climate change. I've never really understood it as such or really paid much attention to it.
Are you one of
But
those people who say it's a hoax? Don't tell
no,
me
no,
you're.
no, 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 no. It's just
It reminds me of
no.
Donald Trump in one interview. Oh, that's a fake. That's not real.
No, 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 no. I do believe in climate change, right?
Okay.
And I respect people who fight for climate change or who actually,
Activists. Yeah.
advocate for it. But let's just say I've just really focused my attention on other issues or other things, But basically, the Queen was just saying that we're going to have to change the way we do things. And she was in Scotland speaking with experts and all that. I really don't know what's happening. So I think this is a part where you would just enlighten on this whole climate change thing.
Well, look,
I'm
the
just
whole
starting to
climate change.
understand it.
Okay, look, to my understanding, what the UK is going to do right now when it comes to climate change, they are setting targets. They are setting these legally binding targets. So, right now, the world is coming to the point where we are going to increase, the temperatures are going to increase to 1.5 degrees. And that's something that we want to avoid at all costs. So, they're saying, okay, right now, I mean, look, in the whole year, every single day, there will be that one day where the temperature will go maybe over the usual. All right, over
Yeah.
1.5 degrees over the usual. But then they say that's just anomalies. But what we want to do is we want to prevent like a consistent temperature. So this is not, we don't want it to be like, let's say 40 degrees Celsius. We don't want it to go to 42, 43,
Hmm.
41.5. That's something that's a big no-no. And the UK has promised, they want to get they want to get down to net zero emissions. And that
Yeah.
what net zero means is essentially there's no carbon production at all in the UK. We are not emitting anything. But the irony is, the irony of this is, people are not taking it seriously. Boris Johnson spoke about it. He made a big deal about it. But then the G7 thing happened, and he took a plane and he
Mm.
flew. I mean, are you really protecting the environment? Are you really taking it serious? Is my question.
It's just like if you're making rules or if you're saying one thing and you're doing the other, you can't
Matt
really expect
Hancock.
people to take you serious.
Matt
You
Hancock.
know, you have to bring that up again. Yeah,
I
no,
mean, I mean,
honestly, yeah, the world is not going to forget what happened with Matt
oh, they will
Hancock
definitely not.
in a long time. But it's like you need to. There's a saying that you can't like practice what you preach.
That is right. I
You
mean, you
have to
put your
bring
money where
what
your mouth is.
exactly.
That's the saying. Yeah. And
Yeah.
because right now the UK, the way we are handling things, we want to get back, and we've put these very very impossible ambitions. We are very highly ambitious. Oh, 2050 is the year where zero. We want it completely zero. And I'm here thinking, we're still using cars that run on petrol. We still have a lot of these planes flying, and we still have pollution going on. I mean, how long will it take? I mean, there's so much talk about it. I mean, there has been initiatives I've seen, like there's this areas where you're not I don't know if you've been to these particular places, like in, I think it was in Manchester or Liverpool, was it, where you have these zones, these clean airspace zones where there's no
Right.
cars supposed to be to be traveling in those places, because if you do, you'll have to pay you'll be penalized and stuff. I see these initiatives. I'm happy. I'm very proud to see something like this. They're actually taking it serious. But is it going to be enough? Is what I'm saying. The government says all this. They have these big talks, and right now, the funny thing, this is the thing that boils my blood. The funny thing is, we are going to be hosting Scotland. Okay, is going to be hosting in Glasgow. They're going to be hosting the COP26, and that is an exhibit. There's this. That's an expo where all these big heads, a lot of these activists, and a lot of these heads of other countries will be coming there, and they will be discussing about climate change. And this is where Greta Thunberg made her big speech about how dare you and all of that. But this is where that's going to happen. But the funny thing is, the number of cases right now in the UK, you can see how it's rising. And
Yeah.
if they can't even keep the number of infections down, my hopes for climate change is not really that high.
I think all I'm just going to say about this whole issue is that everyone just needs to work together, because
Sounds like a
I
High
thought.
School Musical song. We're all in this.
No, but that's the truth though, because as people, as human beings, we're going to suffer
Yeah.
if just like you said, the
That's right.
temperatures are not accurate, or they're not ideal for our inhaling or whatever it has to do with our bodies and our health. In the end, we're going to be the ones to suffer it if anything happens, if there's pollution in the air, if there's
That is
this
true.
and that. So everyone just needs to, even if it's not something I've really been invested in, I have picked up on it, and I'm ready to
Yeah.
do my quota and make my contribution whatsoever, no matter how little. So I
That
think
is
I
right.
think that's just what
That's
everyone
a good
needs
mindset,
to do.
but not everyone has that though. Like a lot of, like I said, a lot of these companies, a lot of these car companies right now, they're saying, okay, these are very unrealistic ambitions, and these big companies, I'm not going to name them, but then a lot of these big exotic car companies have been saying, we need more time, we need to transition to electric cars, we will need more time, we need to do a lot of these things, and it's going to be very, very cost effective, very, very expensive. I'd like to say there's a lot of work to be done, and I just want to see how the UK, where we always talk big about this, and we always say this and that, but then I want to see us actually doing it, not just hot air. I want substance, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
see actual actions. I need to see some sort of action plan, some sort of initiative, a proper initiative. Not just they're doing one or two projects, and there's like, okay, everyone's happy now, the group is happy, okay, we're cool, and then and then the next summit or something, they have these big conversations, big talks, like, oh, we're gonna make it big. We're don't worry, we're the number one country when it comes to being green. I'm I'm not quite so sure right now. I hope they will do, but we can only hope. That's what I think. We can only hope
yeah.
that the government and the people, because like I said, even that one of the initiatives they tried to start was that whole meat thing. Eat less meat. I didn't want to bring that
It's
up.
definitely not gonna work with a lot of people. I mean, you could no. This is not me throwing any shades now, but
Okay.
it could work with vegetarians who don't even eat meat at all.
Yeah.
Who have no business with eating meat whatsoever. But when you're talking about people who are maybe practicing or living the ketogenic lifestyle and
Ketogenic
all of that, no,
lifestyle.
yeah, it's like they eat a lot of meat and a lot of
Yeah.
healthy fats and low carbs, and then you're telling them eat less meat. Like, I don't want to get into this whole meat drama that's going on, but just crazy.
It is the fact of the matter, though. Yeah, this is something that, like I said, the government is trying to do different sort of initiatives. I feel like they're not really organized. They don't really have a proper game plan. They just say this and this, but they're still trying to figure it out, I guess. And
Yeah.
when they were page, well, they gave us all these big promises, that politicians always do. I mean, name one politician that didn't give you a big promise and failed to comply with it.
I mean, it's just, we all know, if we're really being real here, we all know that the last thing you need to do is to believe 100% the word of a politician. I mean, most
That is right.
times, um, I don't know if there are actually any genuine, unselfish politicians out there.
I think it's Jacinda. I'd like to think
The,
Jacinda was one of that from New Zealand.
I really don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not going to care for the people. I mean,
Yeah.
first of all, there are some who genuinely have the interests of people at heart. But Is that
Yeah,
all
when
they
it
care
comes,
about?
it's always agendas. It's always, they always have their some sort of
Yeah, it's
agenda
always
that is driving them. Yeah, that's right.
so
I
there's
mean,
always an end goal. There's always something they want to get out of it.
yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, that's just, I guess, how politics work.
I mean,
And
why
yeah,
why would you spend millions and millions of money,
right, right.
running for an office, and then you get there and yeah,
Yeah, like
no.
right. The same thing. You ask yourself the same question. Why would you spend so much money, and you're not gonna get paid a lot? So what's up with that? Interesting, interesting. These are questions like people should actually ask themselves sometime. Like, why do they work so much? Why do they spend throw so much money for just a menial job like that?
Yeah.
There should be something more into this. But yes,
Yeah. But going back to the whole double jab thing, I know it's going to be a welcome development. I just hope that because they're saying that the prime minister is saying he's going to announce when people can travel without having to self quarantine after having their two jabs
yeah.
few days. So we're hoping that it doesn't take any longer than it's supposed to, and we hope that it's gonna work out for everyone. Because
I
I mean, if
mean,
you're traveling for 2 weeks and then you
yeah.
have to self quarantine for 10 days, I'm
Well,
sorry,
what's
that's the
up?
whole
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah, that your whole vacation is spent in staying in quarantine, and that's not
Yeah.
feasible. That's not sustainable to do that for
Yeah,
long term.
definitely. So I'd rather just get the two jabs, and I know that I can travel and enjoy all my holiday without any staying at home, or I know that I'm safe and everything's good.
I don't know. I feel like hopefully they will bring, instead of face mask, they'll bring like a whole headgear, and they'll ask
I
us to
don't
wear
mind the
that.
headgear though. I can't stand the face mask. I can't breathe in them.
Yeah, they might actually start that. They were like, okay, we found a different initiative, and everyone needs to wear this, like, that submarine scuba diving thing that they did in the past. That whole headgear. Like, you should walk around with an oxygen cylinder.
I mean, give me that headgear that has like the head stuff and then the barricade. I don't. I'll wear that anytime, any day. But see the one that goes through my nah, especially as a woman, especially when you're putting on makeup and then the whole thing is just on the face. It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
it looks like a massacre when you remove your mask after you put lipstick on. Oh, I've seen so many.
Oh
But
gosh,
yeah,
yeah,
hopefully the government will look into this, and they will, they will actually implement this. And yeah, because I mean, it will be more convenient, especially when it comes to the travel
definitely,
industry. And yeah, we will
definitely.
actually look, and I guess businesses will be back on a boom if this happens. If something like this happens, well, we can look forward. The economy will actually start stabilizing. I'd like to say
Yeah.
a lot of these businesses will start stabilizing. People will get back into it, because right now, yeah, one of the businesses that have been hurt the most is travel industry. And my parents does,
Yeah.
they do their own store and travel. They depend on travel and tourists and all that. So we
Uh,
know how difficult it is. Yeah,
oh
it
yeah.
yeah, it's not a pretty sight. It's very difficult, but then they have been hit the hardest, I feel.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's gonna be a lot of people are going to smile when they announce that. Oh, you can once you get your two jabs, you can travel. No self isolating needed. No quarantine
I
needed.
know
A
I know
lot
a
of
bunch
people
of
are going to
people.
start
Yeah,
trooping in. Oh, can I get
yeah.
a second jab, please? Oh,
Second, give
because
me
we
thirds and fourths.
because we still want to travel. We still want to make, even if the summer is coming to an end. Because I
Yeah,
mean, we're already in July. Yeah, but people still feel like, oh, you know what? There's still some sun left. The
that is
weather is
right.
still warm. We can still travel. It's not the end yet, and who knows? Just hope
I mean, yeah.
everything goes okay.
Yeah, yeah, we're definitely hoping for the best, when it comes to that. Let's see how the government handles the situation. Hopefully, they can come up hopefully this they can keep up with this, and they can make sure that a lot of people do get vaccinated. And yeah, it will make traveling easier. I mean, you can travel,
Yeah.
at least travel inside the country and outside without any sort of fear. I'd like to think first those baby steps, where you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about anything like that. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Hopefully, let's see how it goes. We can only expect, we can only hope for the better, is what I'd like to
Yes.
say.
Absolutely.
And yeah, with that being said, we're going to be taking a real quick break. And yeah, taking a look at your time right now, it is 5:30. Good evening. and climb Mount Everest. That is one of that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
You're talking about mental health. Well, if you went out and got some exercise in the fresh air, that would improve your mental health. It'll make you feel better.
That's true. That is true. I wholeheartedly agree. But then for some people, it's how do you find the motivation to, especially when it comes to riding a bicycle, to do it again and again and again and again? It's a cycle that you have to be used to. How do you do it? What makes you wake up in the morning and decide, hey, I'm going to pick my bike up today. I'm going to cycle. What makes you want to do that?
What makes me want to do that?
Yeah. What do you like? What could you give listeners, like people listening in right now? What kind of tip could you give them?
Well, the first tip I would give them, if you haven't tried it before, try it. It can open up new horizons. It'll make you fitter. It will definitely make you fitter. Cycling is one of the best forms of aerobic exercise you can do.
It sounds like, if you think about it, it sounds like great fun. Because what essentially you're trying to say is also at the same time, when you, if you look at it from this perspective, with regards to mental health, especially when you look at it with mental health, this is another way to fight it. I feel like you go outside, you meet more people, you interact with, socially, you'll interact with more people, and you're keeping fit, you're making connections, you're breathing in the good and exhaling the bad. I feel like that's a great thing right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got a better way with words than I have, I'll tell you. But you're quite right. What you say there. You're quite right.
I've been doing this for quite some time. Hey, you'll get the hang of it.
I've been doing it for about 10 minutes now, so yeah.
That I can never really understand people staying in one room the whole day when you can have the world to see. I am a traveler. I travel. I love traveling. Traveling is just one of the things I do. And on top of my bucket list was, to one time, hopefully when I get there, go to Nepal and climb Mount Everest. That is one of that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. Okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
Base camp, yeah.
At least.
Would you be able to cycle there?
Oh.
There's a lot of conversation around who pays more taxes, if it is the rich or if it is the poor, right? But when you are basically going out and during a day, you go to a restaurant, you have to pay taxes there. You buy a car, you have to pay taxes there. So why is it even a conversation that, the rich pay less taxes or the poor pay more taxes? Why is it a conversation like that?
Because it's true that the rich generally pay less tax. A rich person walks into a Tesco's or a Sainsbury's, they're not going to get a different bill than another person, right? They're still going to pay the same VAT on those goods. They're still going to pay the same thing. So that's all the same. However, the differences come in if you can pay yourself from your own company, you can structure it in a way that you pay less income tax through paying a bit of salary, paying dividends and so forth. And then also deferring income. Also, your pension payments or contributions can be different. So that increases your tax sort of gap, if that, if you want to use it that way. Where a PAYE person just gets paid salary and bonus. And now those are the most highly taxed sources of income in the UK, definitely, in the UK. We've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? Because in a public company where the stock is traded openly on the stock exchange, the value of that stock is driven by supply and demand, it's driven by emotion, it's driven by news, it's driven by quite a lot of variables over and above the actual accounting or total net worth of that company. I mean, we've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? And the company may still have value. It may still be doing quite a good thing.
Broadcasting worldwide. Relax Radio.
Relax Radio, that's right. This is Relax. We'll be keeping you company all the way until 6 p.m. Yeah, that's right. My name is Nick, and we got Lara on board as well. And we are going to be definitely talking about all the current events and the political stuff. Yeah, a little bit of juicy stuff right there as well. And if you want to be part of the show, well, it is pretty easy. All you got to do is simply hit us up on those numbers 07852 473 473. That's right. And also don't forget, you can download the app from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Carry us all day, every day. And yeah, Laura, we were talking about all this traveling and how, we're going to get double jabs. But there has been also some interesting news with regards to the whole football situation. What's up with that?
Tell you what.
I love that face you make when you're so exhausted with what these people are doing. You're like, this is so exasperating.
What we were saying is about this whole. Was it Scotland when they said they wanted to lift the restriction?
It was Scotland
to let as many people in. But then, did you see the crowd at the England versus Germany match in Wembley?
The crowd was crazy.
It was insane.
I saw some memes also of this one guy who was playing. He was watching the match. He was like with his shirt on and he was like crying. And the next thing you know, he takes his shirt off and he's shouting. I'm like, wow.
Oh my gosh.
That guy's gaining media attention, and it's not a great thing though.
It's insane because I know everyone was looking forward to that match, and it was a good one. We were so happy. Can't really remember the score now. Was it 3?
I think it was 3-0 or something.
Yeah, I think so. But England really did absolutely well. It was amazing. No, it was 2-0 because I know it was Sterling
2-0.
and Kane that scored. I happened to watch that match that day, even if I'm not exactly a football person. But but the crowd was insane.
Yeah.
Everyone is looking to. I mean, football fans are looking to travel for the Euro 2020. But
That's right.
I think Italy is saying now that they're trying to advise people against traveling, and they're trying to say they're trying to say now that people should not go. We shouldn't don't go. Yeah, they're not going to be let in. They're not going to be let in. So you can make the trip. You can book your ticket. You can do all you need to do, but you're not going to be let into the stadium. So what's the point?
Stay
at home. Stay at home and watch the match.
I mean, that is
on your screen.
I mean, that's the most sensible way to handle it, because like we were saying, there's gonna be sweating, there's gonna be shouting, screaming. Take the last match, for example. That shows, that's testament to what was happening. All the people going crazy, going wild. And, and we have to understand, when your team wins, especially if it's your home team that wins, you are definitely going to be going crazy. I mean, if a match is being played in the UK and if the UK wins, tell me you're not going to throw your shirt up in the sky. Obviously you are, because, your country won. That's the greatest thing. That's the greatest feeling ever. And but the Italians are smart in that kind of way, where they are addressing this and they're saying, okay, listen, we're not going to go fall for this. We're going to make sure that, that no people come into the stadium, because this is just going to cause even more spread of the disease. And that's something that we want to avoid as much as all, so.
Definitely. And now I think there is a fear now that the Euro 2020 games could cause or spark new COVID cases, because now this is from Germany's interior minister.
Yeah.
You know, it's saying that
Wow.
it is,
Then
yeah,
that much time to finally come to a conclusion. I think it's not a good idea, guys. Well, there's going to be more cases. We should watch out.
yeah. A lot of criticisms. People are saying that it is utterly, and I quote, utterly irresponsible
Yeah.
to have big crowds at this moment at the stadium. So
I'm rolling my eyes. I'm like,
we kept saying this thing, Nick. So because if even if you love football, I know
Yeah.
there's hundreds and thousands and millions of fans, of football
Yeah.
fans. Yeah, but this is not the time to
Yes.
go ahead and start traveling because you want to watch a match. And then you're not thinking about yourself, and you're not even thinking about yourself alone. You're not considering other people that might, you might spread something to them. Even if you've got the vaccine,
Yeah.
it doesn't stop you from having the virus and transferring it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I
So
mean,
how does it work? Yeah.
we don't want a fourth wave or a fourth lockdown.
Oh no. Don't.
I'm just gonna
why are
pack
you
my
having-
bags and just go.
Where are you gonna go though? The virus is just gonna follow you. I'm telling you, wherever you go, it's just
Oh
gonna
gosh,
be
when you
following
say it
us.
like that,
Yeah,
makes
I
it
mean,
sound
look,
so awful.
look. I mean, let's be honest. We had this conversation where one day we woke up, we were like, oh, it was in China, and the next thing you know, it's in the UK, and it started becoming a big deal, and the whole world went on a
Yeah.
lockdown. I mean, come on.
You know,
I mean,
yeah.
you wanted to say
They're saying this because after
Yeah.
Scotland, more than 2,000 cases in Scotland were
There has
linked
been, yeah.
to the football fans watching fixtures and stuff. So people are now saying that a lot of people criticize the G7 summit, and we know that, oh yeah, the politicians and the leaders should have known better. But
Yeah.
as people, as civilians, I call us civilians because we don't exactly hold all that power and authority. We don't have those positions. So we need to also do better. We can't act like them, even if they're not leading by example. They
Yeah.
say one thing and doing the next. But
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, but if you're really thinking about, oh, I don't want another lockdown, please God, I don't want another lockdown, then just sit at home and watch the football from your homes. Don't travel because
I know. I mean, it's difficult for a lot of people. It is pretty difficult
Yeah.
to follow and abide with the rules. I mean, no matter how much you want to do it, it's not as easy as it sounds. I mean, it does. It is. It gets really, really difficult. So yeah, with that regards, though, I mean, the way the cases are rising in Scotland right now,
Yeah.
people are saying, "Oh, we have fears of the number of cases." Well, you should have known. I mean, you guys should have known. I mean, what did you expect? Were you gonna get apples or something? Or did you expect roses? Obviously, there's just going to be more cases.
Yeah, and now I know the next match is England and Ukraine,
Okay.
right? And a lot of people are going to want to watch that match now because a lot of people are going to want to know, obviously, support England and stuff. But now football fans in the UK are being warned that they will not be admitted in the stadiums. Yeah, Italy's seriously warning them that they're not going to let them in.
Yeah,
You
well,
want to come and watch the match, stay at home. It's going to be broadcast live. You're not going to miss 18. We don't want you coming to the stadiums and putting all your sweat and all your body fluids and every single thing all over the place and on other people. And then when you're leaving, a week or so later, people start complaining of COVID related symptoms, and
well,
that's not what they need.
I feel like this is just another publicity stunt, because look at it like this. When the government announced when the matches were happening in the UK as well, they said, okay, people shouldn't travel. We should stay at home, try to watch it from home. They're encouraging people to do this and that. And so they had a bunch of, they had the people, they allocated an amount of people in the stadiums. And what happened was there was more than 4 times actually more of
More
the amount
people,
of people
yeah.
that came. Yeah, it came in. They didn't go to the stadium though. Most of these people were from London. Londoners came in and they got the virus and they went back home. So I'm just telling you, people are not gonna listen. No matter what you say, you'll have to be strict about it. You should be like, okay, no traveling into country. You can't come to our country. That's a different story altogether. If they say, okay, there's travel restriction, people from the UK cannot come into Italy. all right, then we get it. But what they're saying is, oh, you can come to Italy, but you can't watch the matches.
Well,
I'm like,
I think if you were to ask me, I think first of all, I'm guessing the UK and Italy have a good relationship.
they do.
You know, they wouldn't want to strain anything. Now, it's easier for people to go to Wembley. Obviously,
Yeah.
you're in the UK. It's very easy to get to London. But when you're talking about going to Italy, you can't really say, "Oh, nobody should come to Italy," because not everyone is going to go there for the football. If I'm going to Italy, I'm probably going to go and try their pizza or try their
Yeah.
wine, try something nice. You know, not for football. Definitely not for football. So, I don't think they would know who is going for what reason.
So
You
why not?
know,
Why instead of trying to I know. Look, the whole procedure is filtering it all out is going to be difficult, right? Okay, so what is the time frame? The time frame is right now there is going to be football matches happening in the UK. There will be in Italy rather. There will be matches happening in Italy. So they will have to know, okay, so in this time frame we are going to ban any people from traveling into the country. People who have anything they'll have to postpone or something like that. I mean, they should have these are things they could have foreseen is what I'm
I
trying to
don't,
say.
yeah, but I don't think other people should suffer because it's like, oh, I want to travel to probably see my parents that live in Italy. And then because of a football match, you're going to tell me not to go. It's unfair if you ask me. But it's like, okay, fine. Because I don't know how football tickets are sold, but I'm guessing that individuals, sell them or companies sell them.
They do,
So
they do.
even if they know that, this is a high risk because of the COVID situation and stuff. They may not care as long as they're getting the money, as long as they're selling the
Yeah,
tickets.
that
That's
is
that's
true.
that's their own problem, But I think that maybe this is how they feel is the best way to curb the situation is to tell people, you know what, even if you come, if we
Yeah,
know you're coming for football, you're not
yeah.
going to get into the stadium. So even if you've paid £1,000 just to
You
enter
might
the
as well
stadium,
just watch it at home.
we'll probably just bring the TV out to you just on the road in front of the stadium. You can watch it there, but you're not getting in. I don't know
I
how they want to do it.
I mean, I feel like they say all these things, but they will let you in. I mean, regardless, something will happen. I mean, this is how they do it. They start and they say this, but then when football is involved, I mean, the rules change.
Yeah, but Italy was one of the countries that was the most hit
They were. That
with
was right.
COVID.
It
So
was
they
scary.
wouldn't exactly it was terrible and they had a lot of losses. They recorded a lot of losses. I don't think they would want a repeat, no matter how intense or how special this football is. To them, it's we've lost so many people.
Yeah,
We don't
that's
want to
true.
lose anymore. So if they have to become like strict African parents, for example, and say, no, my feet are down, you're not doing this. Like my parents growing up, no is a no. You don't have
Yeah,
there's no way to talk.
it's it's like that. Yeah, yeah. It's the same even in the Asian households. Where parents come in. If you want to do something, you have to make sure that mom is in a good mood before you do it.
Honestly, it's like
Yeah.
growing up. If I went to my mom, can I do this? No. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go tell dad. My dad's like, go and ask your mom, whatever she says. I'm like, bruh, I just came to you because obviously she said no.
Ah,
So
parents.
I think maybe this is what they're trying to do to say, you know what, don't. This is the only way we can do it. So
Yeah, that's right.
because if this happens, if they let people in and something goes wrong, they're
Then there
gonna
will
have to
be a
take the
problem.
fall for it, and then
That is true.
it's like it's going to start all over again.
I feel like right now the way it's going, I feel like it is. I mean, they by now the COVID. We know for one thing, one fact is there that the COVID is not going to go away anytime soon, and now the people are treating it more like a common flu kind of thing. And there have been researchers like actually there was a researcher. I don't want to say his name because it's really really funny, but yeah, he spoke about this and he was saying, okay, this is he essentially what he was trying to say is he was trying to address this thing and he was saying the way the COVID situation is going, it's like people are taking it granted. It's like a flu, more like a flu than it is like a serious disease. Although
Yeah.
there is side effects, we still have to hopefully bring forth booster vaccines is what he's trying to suggest.
Um, I think because it has stretched this long, I don't know if the UK has ever experienced any disease that has lasted this long. to be honest with you. So I feel like a lot of people are starting to disregard the authenticity of COVID. I'm trying to now starting to feel it's just common flu. Like, and then
it's like everything you see, it's like, oh, it's COVID.
yeah,
COVID. Why are people getting so worried about it?
Yeah, it's like I was speaking with some of my colleagues, and she's like, "Oh, I've had it." I'm like, "Okay," and my first instinct was, "Stay away from me," But then I asked her, like, "How do you know you've had it?" She's like, "Oh, I had a blocked nose. I had and everything she mentioned were like." Yeah,
Symptoms
that's
of the
what happens to
flu.
me when I get the flu.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's come to that point, where it is
yeah,
very, very much like that now, where it's not really as serious as what we really thought, and because we got to understand, if we are going to close down, I understand, yes, there's a number of people who died, they passed away, but now we have vaccines for this, and we are developing booster vaccines and all of that. This is definitely going to come. This is definitely going to come into play. This will definitely be used in. They will be making, they will be introducing this in the near future, where you will have to take booster jabs. So Laura, if you think you're just gonna get away with 2 vaccines, where can you get those boosters? Yeah.
Oh gosh, I can't
Yeah.
stand needles. I mean,
What would be fun is, you will have to take a booster every 6 months or something. Wow. I know your face says it all.
yeah, I'm not ready for that. That's why we're just encouraging everyone to please be careful. Like, I want to go for the summer
Exactly.
as well. I want to
That's true.
travel, but like, we just have to be very careful where we're going, why we are going. If it's not of
It's
massive importance, please.
Don't go.
Yeah, you don't have a
Stay
ghost
home.
chasing you out of your house. Stay in the house. Like, there's no one. Just everyone, just
I
be
know.
careful and take it
it's
easy.
it's crazy. Yeah, like people think like, oh, okay, everything's just going to go back to normal, we're done, COVID is done all of a sudden, and we can get back to normal, and we can just go crazy again, we can enjoy, have fun. But it doesn't work like that. You have to watch out, you have to look out, you have
Yeah,
to make sure that you're that that you don't contribute to the spread of the virus, is what I'd
yeah.
like to say. You want to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, and it's like, even besides the fact, I mean, I get it. When this whole thing is done and dusted, everywhere will be open again. Pubs will be open. Hopefully, nightclubs will be open. It will seem like our lives are normal, but the reality of it is, we're obviously not going to remain the same, because,
Yeah,
like I said the other day, trust issues. You're not going to trust that someone will sneeze beside you, unlike before, when you say "bless you." Now, if someone sneezes, you
you're
just
like,
like
hey brother, what?
jump over to the next chair without even realizing it. And yeah, it's a lot of relationships will be strained. A lot of
That is
relationships
true.
will have to be formed again. Uh,
That is like, I've seen, like, now if you
yeah.
hear somebody says positive, you're like, oh, mask, put the mask on, get away, put it back, and you don't even know positive for what. You
Sometimes
just said positive.
I feel like the mask sometimes is part of my dress code. Like, I
It
walk
is.
into a store and I come out and I'm done shopping. I put the stuff in my car. I'm about to drive off, and then I realize, come, my face feels funny. And I touch my face. I'm like, oh crap! I still have this on. I still take that. I'm like, I don't know. It's
I think we are the first, I think, generation, I think, in a very long time to actually, incorporate this whole masks. I mean, you see places like in Japan, in Korea, where they wear masks on a daily. It wasn't such, it always felt weird for me looking at them walking around. And I'm like, what are you? Do you think you breathe better air or something? Like, why are you wearing that mask? I always
Do you have
wonder. I mean, I
special
was very,
oxygen?
yeah, I'm like, what are you? You can't breathe the same air that we breathe now. Why are you wearing that mask? And then I kind of realized why they were wearing that mask in the first place. I mean, to prevent a sort of spread, because there are people, who are germaphobes and all. But that's another tangent.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yes, that is just, something that right now it's come to that point where this is just the norm for us. This is
Hmm.
just a normal where we wear masks, we sanitize. I mean, I'm telling you, you have to teach people to sanitize and use how to use a sanitizer, how to wash your hands. I mean, do we even need to be even teaching these? These things are supposed to be taught at home.
I mean, the case of washing your hands, to be honest, is just we before the COVID situation, a lot of people didn't know that. Oh, there were germs. Even if you just ran your hands underwater without
Yeah,
soap or anything, the germs will still be on your hands. But now we're trying to learn use soap and wash, sing the happy birthday song, wash for like
Happy
20
birthday song.
seconds,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and even when you wash your hands, they also still tell you don't use that same hand to touch the tap. Because that was the same tap that you touched to open it before you washed your hand. So it's like you're getting the bacteria and the germs back on your hands. So they teach you turn the tap on, wash your hands with soap, wash interlock hands and everything. Grab a paper towel, wipe your hands, and use that paper towel to close the tap, and then throw it in the bin.
That
So
just sounds like a lot of work.
yeah, and then
That sounds like a lot of work.
and then if it's not the one that you twist, you
Yeah.
just use your elbow to turn it down. So we didn't know a lot of these things before COVID. So in a way,
Yeah.
it's made us a bit more,
Yeah. I mean,
we
we're
know
more
more,
hygienic.
more
Hygienic.
knowledge.
Yeah, more knowledge. I mean, I feel like we're more hygienic in that sense, where people don't use their hands anymore to open the door. They use their elbows. And that's what I do. If
Of
I
your
open the door,
legs.
I just use my elbows. Or, I'm sorry?
On my legs.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes if I'm trying to close the door or open the door, I just
Yeah, I
never
mean,
mind that.
in an elevator, yeah, I don't see me using my leg, but okay. But yes, yeah, a lot of people use their elbows and all of that to, it's become second nature, and I feel that's more clean in that particular way because now before we used to take it for granted, but now we realize there's more germs, especially in, let's say, if you go to a communal or a community bathroom or something, a washroom where a lot of people go to, or a general washroom, and where people go in, or let's say you go to some big chain store or something, that there's so many people coming in every
Yeah.
single moment.
Yeah.
I mean, for reasons like that, to be using your elbow is, definitely something that you should do. So I don't know about how they do it in African cultures, but in the Asian cultures, we use our hands sometimes to eat rice and stuff like that, right? So
Well, definitely there are some meals, but obviously
Yeah.
you need to be really. You have to wash your hand before you do
Yeah.
that. Wash your hands after. Sometimes you wash your hand in between. If the food is too delicious and you start getting messy,
yeah, but
so it all
but-
depends on how you want to do it.
well, you're the first person who said that. If it's getting too messy, wash your hands again and eat again. Wow. Yeah. But I get it now because I used to have a friend. I used to have a friend rather, whose mom was a doctor at one point, and this is before COVID, before the whole COVID situation, and she used to tell us every day, she's like, "Don't eat with your hands." I'm like, "We're like, why?" She's like, "Look, I work in the hospital, and we always use our hands to, we do the most disgusting things in the hospital. I mean, as professionals, they do all these things.
They've
and they
seen
say,
it
End
all.
of the day, yeah. And then you use your hands for all of these things, and then end of the day, you come home and you are gonna eat with that same hands. You're like, no, you're gonna use a fork and a spoon.
Well, I mean that is there's an explanation for that. That's because of the nature of their job.
Yeah,
You can't tell someone who works in an office where I know that you pick up a lot of files and everything, but most times your offices are very clean. They're spotless. You get the cleaners come in and just sanitize the whole place, make everywhere spick and span. So if you want to eat with your hand, it depends on what particular kind of food. I mean, if you're eating chips and chicken, especially if you're getting from like KFC, like what kind of time would you have to get a fork and knife and start cutting the chips up and just use it? Like some kinds of food even taste better when you're using your hands.
Yeah,
Like
that is
finger
that's
foods.
the truth. That is true.
There's a reason they're called finger foods. So.
Yeah, there is a saying in the Philippines. They say food tastes better if it's eaten by hand, because
That is true.
there is a reason. It is smart. I mean, it is true. Anyways, though, it is about that time of the day, though, that we wrap things up right here.
Yep.
Time has actually flown really fast today. Yeah, it's a crazy time. It's a crazy day, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll definitely be back tomorrow. And yeah, we'll be definitely be back tomorrow, same time, same place, only here on Real Talk. And yeah, you can catch me again tomorrow with Laura all the way until 5 p.m. That's right. So make sure you guys keep it locked. But with that, my name is Nick.
And I'm Laura. We still haven't worked on
We
it.
still
Oh my
have
God.
to work out on this.
Yeah. Oh,
and yeah, definitely we're definitely out of here. And yeah, peace and much love.